it again.
Views from the friend zone. I'm trying to reach the end zone. You think I'm kinda sweet and you wanna be friends though? It's cool though. Just don't try to play me for no fool, yo. Views from the friend zone. I'm trying to reach the end zone. You think I'm kinda sweet and you wanna be friends though? It's cool though. Just don't try to play me for no fool, yo. Yeah. Welcome to another edition of the Views from the Friend Zone podcast. Happy Sunday, y'all. It is hot as hell outside, so I hope you guys are out there staying cool. Shout out to Greedy Gut, shout out to Sensei, shout out to Cliff Brockmanam. They wasn't able to make the show today, but the show must go on. The team should be back in the building, next week. You know what I'm saying? As always, it's your boy Real Talk Marv. I'm gonna have the guest introduce himself shortly, but I first gotta say, this weather outside is crazy. I hate when the weather's trying to show off and get extra credit, right? Because to get an A, all you need is a 90 to a 95. There's 105 extra credit shit. I don't need that kind of heat. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have the guest introduce himself.
What's going on, friends from the View? It's your boy Dre Ready, Ready Entertainment, Goon Savvy. Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be in the building. Just trying to get my podcast on.
Cool.
I'm a fan of the show,
I
I like what you guys are doing here. So when I got the opportunity to come in and speak my piece and have some fun, I was like, oh no, I got to jump on this.
Cool. So you got a clothing line. Tell us a little bit about the clothing line.
Yes, sir. It's called Goon Savvy.
Mm-hmm.
It's an acronym. So for everybody, it's not just some thug bullshit. It's an acronym that stands for getting over obstacles and negativity.
Which is deep. This is dope, right? Because I love when we take something that usually have a negative connotation and flip it, right?
Right.
Because, sometimes as African-American men, if we're assembled in a crowd, it's like, oh, there's a bunch of goons over there. But when you could take the negativity and spin it to something, that's kind of cool.
From probably about 2004 to about 2009, I did a lot of promoting.
Okay.
One of the main places that I did promoting in was BB King's. There was a Saturday night party that was in there every Saturday.
Yeah,
with DJ
I think I went to.
So a lot of the times, friends of mine, people that I grow up with, they're not clubbers. They're good people, but they're not clubbers. So they don't know what's club attire. They just know what's fly. They know what they spent money on. So a lot of times, a lot of people that I was bringing to the club was unable to get in. Not because they were bad people or because they was causing trauma. It was just because you know how the clubs go. It's perception. You're looked at before you walk in. And a lot of people wasn't dressed accordingly, so it started to piss my team off. They were like, yo, they out here treating us like goons. You know what I'm saying? So that's when one of my partners was like, all right, so let's take goon and flip it.
Yeah.
And then
see, that's a dope backstory. Like I said, I love to hear that. I love when people take things and flip
What's
it.
interesting is I was listening to the episode where you guys were talking about clothing lines, and I believe it was you that had the stance of we don't support black, because I think you were saying when it was the Rockaware and Sean John, and
those things kind of died out fast,
right,
but we've
right.
like Ralph Lauren and stuff like that. Last the test of time.
But while I was listening, I was like, I don't know, Marv. I kind of agree with the other people as far as where are they?
Yeah.
When they're there, we support. We're in an era now where a lot of things is boutique.
Yeah.
Fashion is real boutique.
Yeah.
Based off of message and purpose, not more of style and swag. Sean John can come out with something real, real great. But if I come out with a sweatshirt that feeds to what's going on with poverty or jail reform or things like that, people are going to, where we're at right now, people are going to tend to, to go to that more than the high brands, fashion, things like that. So that's why you have Gucci, Ferragamo, and things like that, because those are the accessory pieces that people can pay a lot of money for that address around the boutique, the T-shirts and stuff that they can wear. So it was just more about me putting something on the market where, well, not just me, I work with a team, but just basically putting out a brand where, people can be comfortable in their own skin. Okay. We started it off with branding. We dealt with URL. Shout out to Norbs and Smack. They allowed us to promote, a lot of their videos and things like that. So now it's more about upgrading the brand to the fact where now we can have pop-ups, be in stores and, actually put, pieces on people's backs where they'll be able to support.
So I know you said you started with the promoting since like 0409, but how long has the brand been established?
The brand has been established for 2.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, 2.5 years.
So roughly 2017.
Yeah, right there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Have you faced any difficulties like getting it into stores or?
I mean, of course, because they don't want to deal with you until they know you.
Yeah.
It's not like music where you
but
just...
that's everything. That's everything.
Right. So it's one of those situations where you have to, you put yourself in position. They don't want it. Okay, well, what are we going to do to make ourselves pop so where they come back and say, oh, we were wrong.
Yeah.
We do want you. So, yeah. And then you have the connects. You don't have the connects. You don't have, where are you getting these T-shirts from? Where are you getting these hoodies from?
Yeah.
Are these the hoodies and T-shirts that people wear? Like, for example, I can put a design on any type of T-shirt, but are you going to buy a $45 T-shirt that's basically on a T-shirt like them Sun T-shirts that you could get 3 for $10?
Yeah.
Not really, because after you wash it, the neck is going to go down to your belly button.
And
you know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you mentioned that. That's a issue that a lot of times we have, right? Because when you think of a new brand trying to establish shelf,
Right.
especially like with a smaller name kind of thing without the backing of a huge machine, we always question the quality, right? Right. Okay, even if you start off with, like you said, the Sun T-shirts 3 for $10 for your stuff like that, when you make your brand and you're doing that 3 for $10 kind of thing, and you come to me and you say the T-shirt's $10, I'm cool with it. But when you have that quality and you charging me $50 for that T-shirt,
right.
Like,
Now I will say this.
Because that's the
if you're a new brand and you're coming out with clothes that's $50, $60, of course you're not going to have the success, But at the end of the day, a lot of times people have to also remember that there's expenses that go into actually making a T-shirt that I have to see the money back, as far as buying the T-shirts in bulk.
Yeah.
We may not have the equipment to make the T-shirts, so now we have to go to somebody to make the T-shirts. Where are we keeping these T-shirts?
Yeah.
If someone in Virginia wants the T-shirt, I live in New York City. I'm not going to drive them the T-shirt. I have to ship it, which is basically $7 to $12 depending on what their address is.
Yeah.
So you're looking at a T-shirt that cost you $10 to make, that after you get through finished with it and ship it out, that is now a $34 T-shirt. Okay. So am I going to charge you $34? No, because really all you're doing is giving me the money back that I put out to make the T-shirt. And I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like good business where all I'm doing is making stuff and getting the money back that I made to produce it. You know, so it's a thin line between...
It's economy of scales. But,
exactly.
But my thing about it is you have to, like, as a business person, I'm not saying how you operate your business, but as a business person, if you come up to me with a T-shirt out of your trunk that looks like a T-shirt that I could get from Bootleg Man and was charging me $50.
Right.
Like, how does that work for them?
I mean, but I can follow that by asking you, I mean, if Kanye West put it on, you wouldn't even question it. Not saying that you would go out and run to buy it, but there are individuals, that same exact T-shirt, if Kanye put it on and said it's a $120 T-shirt, people are going to be like, all right, well, it must be the shit. You know, Kanye is saying it's $120, but if I come with that same T-shirt that look trash and I say it's $120, they're going to be like, on purpose of what? Yeah. Why is it $120? You know what I'm saying?
But, I mean, let's keep it a buck. Like, you know, LeBron promoting something, Kanye promoting something like that. There's a brand equity that comes with that person.
Exactly.
Versus, you know, someone you don't know trying to...
Exactly. But then you have brands that African Americans do where they put it at price points to where it's cheap, and then black people be like, I don't know. I don't think I could be in the streets with $29 sneakers. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's a thin line. It's a thin line,
right? So I got you.
It's a thin line.
I appreciate all that stuff like that. Before we start the show, let them know where they can get Goon Savvy, how they can look you up and things like that.
Well, we're affiliated with Big Cartel. Anybody that does not know Big Cartel, it's a company that allows up-and-coming companies like myself. Doesn't give them the platform on their own, but it gives them the platform to create a web page where people can go to it and online shop, things like that. Like I mentioned to you, we started off branding first. So right now our upgrades in marketing and branding is now to put it on people's backs. But, you know, IG, at Goon Savvy, you know, at Dre Ready 5384. You know, URL, we're with them. So, you know, you can always reach out. We have pieces available on the Instagram where you can see, you know, screenshot, cops sent DMs like, I like this, do you have it in this color, things of that nature. But the whole process of, you know, formidable websites and pop-up shops, those type of things are coming. Our main goal in the beginning was branding, making sure we had purpose behind the name, Now it's about putting it on people's backs.
Cool. So before we go into our regular show, I wanted to talk about a couple of things that's current events kind of thing.
Gotcha.
So
I'm a current event whore.
So the first thing I wanted to discuss, because I also was, saw you kind of mention it also on your Instagram and stuff like that, is the child support that Kevin Garnett.
Oh, shit.
So if whoever's listening doesn't know, Kevin Garnett is a former, very a future Hall of Fame
first ballot
player.
Hall of Famer.
Yes,
one of the greatest power forwards to ever play in the game.
He was the first person to sign a huge contract, like in this new age of huge contracts.
Let's get straight. He wasn't the first person to sign it. He was the first person to sign it twice. There was a lot of people that got paid, but there wasn't a lot of people getting those contracts twice.
He was the first one to sign the 2-something deal.
Right. But he got that twice.
He got that twice.
So
he's not hurting.
No.
But judge has decided that he has to pay his wife who filed for divorce $100,000 a month, right? For her, for him and the kids.
And spousal
and child support, right? And then people gonna be like, "Oh, he have it, don't worry." But to me, it's just like there's gotta be some kind of line that's drawn with the spousal support,
right?
And like, I'm not a parent, so people gonna be like, "Oh, you don't know the cost and stuff like
That's
that."
what they always.
I don't care unless the kid lives on the moon. Why does it take $100K a month?
Let me ask you something. How old are you?
I'm 36.
Okay.
But this is another thing is what people fail to realize when you have those agreements, right? It's not like he's gonna disappear and not be in the kid's life.
Right.
The kids are gonna be within him.
Right.
He's gonna be spending money on the kids outside of that money kind of thing. So, but go ahead.
No, I was just basically saying the reason why I asked you how old you were is because we're two adults who know what average cost of living is. Whether we live in New York City, Virginia, we know how much it costs to live. Okay? This is not a situation where Kevin Garnett is paying for his kids and his wife to live. He could put them in a dope condo, something lit. Something lit. This is about the upkeep of her life. See, what happens is a lot of these athletes get married and they get with girlfriends where, you're taking these women out of their element. You came up as a college athlete in Virginia. You met this honey on campus. She ends up being your wife, but you get drafted by the Lakers. So now you're telling the honey that's never been past Oklahoma that now she got to live 15 years in California. So now you're putting her in a land where she's never been. She probably didn't finish school. She probably didn't do anything as far as business because her whole life was, I'm Kevin Garnett's wife.
So I've been supporting.
Yeah, so I've been supporting. So now you're telling her, the person who had the access to get on the planes and go to Europe with the girls for the weekend, who had the access to have the cars and stuff like that. Now you're telling her, no, now you have to have your life based off of what you had before you got with me. And she's looking at it
he
like...
had a prenup too. I don't...
but
because if she didn't, her bag would be even crazier.
Right, but they're saying that the prenup doesn't matter until they find it, which I find highly weird. Is what do you mean they have to find the prenup? It's either with Kevin or it's with the lawyer. But they're saying until, I guess, whatever arrangements within the prenup get confirmed, he has to pay this bag.
So how do you feel about that whole situation?
I feel $1.2 million a year is ridiculous. That's fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. My responsibility is to make sure that the kids are comfortable, get into the top schools, not worrying about money. They need something for this. Make sure they have that. Like, that's my responsibility as an ex-husband. My responsibility as an ex-husband is to make sure that you can still buy Louis purses. Because that's all this is about. $100K? $100K a month? A month? A month?
That is
my father's 62 years old. He survived making half of that yearly. And he's not poor. You know what I'm saying? He's had a Lexus before. So I know goddamn well there's not one individual on this earth that needs $100,000 a month.
I would say it's cheaper. It's cheaper to keep her, but she filed divorce. And, it wasn't like he wanted to get divorced.
So did you hear that the reasoning that this happened was because supposedly Kevin Garnett touched joint account money that he wasn't supposed to touch? I guess there was like...
And he put the money in that account.
Which is stupid to me. So it's like, these accounts are only viable because of Kevin Garnett.
I put the money in the account.
How can you sit up here and tell me you can't touch...
I always tell people, like, if you don't understand that marriage is a business, you're already lost.
Straight up and down.
You're already
business,
lost in the beginning of
business.
that.
And the problem why is not the fact that people don't understand that it's not a business. The problem is that people don't want to clarify who's the CEO in the business. You see, when you get married, there's a boss. Yeah. Now, whether the guy's the boss, he might be the boss because the woman doesn't work, so he's responsible for the bread.
I don't think a man is ever the boss in the marriage. You may be the financier, but the CEO is always the wife, especially when there's kids.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
The CEO is always the wife.
She's doing much more than you'll ever do when it comes to sustain a marriage or a relationship. So I can get that. But still, if I'm making $32 million a year.
Yeah. So that's why
decisions still have to be approved by me first. You know
I'm not blue collar. I work in corporate America, but I'm not MBA money kind of thing. Right. So to me, it's just like the money I make. Me and my wife split up, reasonable things are met, kind of stuff like that, whatever. But I don't see when you're making those millions. Right. To me, it's just like I don't even understand.
But let's not look at this, ladies and gentlemen, as a money thing. Mm-hmm. This is a deserving thing. Yeah. If I made $42,000 a year and we divorced, I still want to make sure you're only getting the money to take care of our children and make sure you're not on the street.
But how do you define what they deserve?
What do you mean?
How do you put a dollar value on the housewife?
We're gonna be at a table just
how
like
do
this.
you put the dollar value of a housewife?
We're gonna be at a table just like this,
like you said, it's different being a housewife in Calabasas, California, versus a housewife.
Right. I'm going to tell
Virginia
you.
Beach.
I thought about this. I'm weird when it comes to shit like this.
My wife knows. I always think about the money.
I want to know. So tell me. I want her lawyer to tell me what's the top high school in the United States of America. Yeah. The top prep school, not public school, because public school. As long as you got the grades, you can always get into that. Yeah. What is the top high school prep school in the United States of America? Okay. How much does it cost to be in that?
Yeah, the camps, trust me, the numbers could get chefed up. However,
right,
private chef.
But just like she manipulated the numbers to be $100K a month, I can manipulate it to say, listen, it only costs $15,000 to put my child in the best school ever. Yeah. So why am I paying $85,000 more than what I'm supposed to be paying? Because that's not covering school clothes. Like you said, it's to maintain the
lifestyle. Before we get into the show, the last thing I want to say is there's a movement that they're saying that marriage licenses should expire.
Oh yeah, I'm all
shouldn't
for
be for life.
I heard about this yesterday. I am all for it.
I used to joke with my wife like marriage licenses should be every 2 years, like your cell phone bill. After 2 years, you figure out, do you want to stay? Do you want to go?
Ladies and gentlemen, how great was NBA free agency because of the fact that these players are not in 5-6 year contracts?
Exactly,
you
can
opt out. It's the fact that these players are playing 2-3 years, and after that third year,
you need an opt out option that could protect you financially.
Yes. I need to turn on BET and see breaking news. Hove opts out of his 3rd year deal with Beyonce. He's going to take his $36 million. Yeah. But, the marriage is
it's tough, right? Because this affects only the 1%, right?
Right, exactly.
When us broke people break up, we break up with more stress than money.
We can't focus on the money, Marv. We have to focus on this is a deserving thing. Regardless of how much you make per year, you should only be getting the money that is needed and deserving to take care of your kids.
But you keep saying deserve.
Yes, deserve.
So, because some people would justify like, I let you live an easy life by me holding it down back home. I deserve more than half of what you made.
They do
because I made your life better.
They do say that.
And even though it's hard to swallow that.
They do say that. And if I'm Kevin Garnett, you know what I'm going to say?
You wasn't with me shooting in the gym Drake said?
I'm not even going to say it. I'm going to walk into the gym. I'm going to give her a basketball, put her behind the 3-point shot. I'm going to be like, make a 3.
And then she could also say, okay, I want you to have a child. Show me, you, Kevin Garnett,
right,
as a man,
right,
show me how it is to have a child. I risked my life bringing your babies into this world because I could have died when I did that. Okay. You put a dollar amount on that. I'm playing devil's advocate, but that's what can happen.
No, I got it.
All right, so we're gonna jump into the regular show, right? And the first topic we're gonna talk about is celebrating other people's winning seasons, right? Because a lot of times when we see people who look like us win or people from the same circles win, we all of a sudden get tight about it.
Right.
Some people can embrace other people winning, but some people kind of just start like, what about him that makes him so special for him to win? But I also feel like the reason why I titled it Winning Season, right, is because everybody has a turn to win. Sometimes you got to sit back and wait till it's your time kind of thing. Right. So anybody who knows who's any success, you realize that, you're not successful all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why you commend certain people like Drake and Jay-Z who has the longevity, right? Because 1 year 50 Cent was the biggest rapper in the world.
Right.
And then now music-wise, he's...
Right.
Eminem was the biggest artist in the world. And now music... You know what I'm saying? You have your seasons. Nelly. You know what I'm saying?
Ja Rule.
Even Chingy, not to that level, but was kind of hot. You know what I'm saying? So the first subtopic is, why do people struggle to wait their time and celebrate the success of others?
I wouldn't want to say people. I really think that it has a lot to do with nationality. To me, African Americans are the only people where success makes them reflect on themselves. You know, you have a lot of nationalities where they see success and they automatically jump to, I am happy for them. Like this is great. You know, this is they're doing their thing. I'm gonna tell my uncle, I'm gonna tell my mom, I'm gonna tell my cousins, my friend is doing this. African Americans though, when somebody wins, then it looks like, well, damn, he doing it. Why am I not doing it?
I agree in somewhat, and then what I kind of disagree. I just feel like, you know, because of historically how it's been for us in this country and in the worldwide,
Right.
we struggle so much to get success that there's a bitterness sometimes.
Oh,
right?
of course.
Because last week we was talking about, or a week before we was talking about how, like, you know, white children kind of grow up thinking that anything is possible. And we kind of grow up with our parents saying like, yo, the world is against you. So you have these limited options. Right. You got to go to school. You got to become
that's
a
because
doctor,
we only see success about what's around our establishment. That's why you have a lot of kids that only feel the only way out the hood is either selling drugs, playing sports, rapping, or doing something, helping anybody that's successful in those areas. You know, I can be an astronaut making $42 million in a year, and I can be from the hood, and I can bring that same type of money to the hood the same way a rapper do. But I'm guaranteed if I brought that money the same day a rapper do, the rapper would get more of the
it's more sensational.
You know, they see it as better. It's just more about educating the opportunity. We're not really educated on the opportunities on how to make money.
I think with that issue about, you know, our people kind of finding it difficult to celebrate other people's wins.
Right.
I think it goes across the board, but I think what jumps out more about our people, right, is because we've been positioned to have the crab in the barrel mentality, right? It's conditioning from slavery where we would put each other against each other to compete for like small windows of success.
Right.
I feel other people feel like there's less constraints on them, so they see other ways for them to win. And then it kind of feels like we compete to be like, there's only one seat at the table. So if someone who looks like me is at that seat, that means there can be another one of us there.
And a lot of times also people look at the success as, okay, now it's your turn to help me. It's not
obligation, right?
It's not like, okay, you did a good job, congratulations, and now congratulations. Okay, well now how can you help me? Oh, you can't help me? Well, fuck what you doing then.
Yeah.
He ain't bringing it back to the hood. He ain't helping nobody around here. So what do I care that he's successful? See, a lot of times we base another person's success on how he's helping other people. You know, oh, he came from the hood, but he don't put no money back in the hood. Well, maybe that wasn't his goal. Maybe his goal was to get out so he don't want to see nobody that was robbing his aunts and grandmothers when he was little. Maybe he don't want to deal with the people that was on the corners making his walk to school every day deathly. You know what I'm saying? These are not situations that people want to be around.
Jay-Z, it was an interview where a guy was just like, you know, I don't want to tell you how to spend your money, Jay-Z, but I think it would be cool if you bought Marcy and reinvest in Marcy and stuff like that. And Jay-Z told the guy like, yo, I understand where you're coming from, but to me, the projects is limited, you know. It's low-income housing where we have to graduate out of the... So if I celebrate, you know, promoting Marcy and you know, kind of putting money into Marcy, I'm kind of putting people into the mentality that it's okay to stay stagnant in this particular place.
Are you a homeowner?
I am a homeowner.
Okay, so the value that you placed on your home when you bought it, I'm pretty sure you made renovations to it and things of that nature. And for anybody that does not know,
equity-wise, it goes up. The valuation of the house goes up.
So if you take a project building that when it went up in 1962, and you crash it down and then build up this pleasant, smell good apartment complex, you're not paying the same $250 a month that your auntie is paying to still live in there.
It's market value.
Yes, Now that same house is about $11.50 a month.
Yeah. And then if you turn around and do that, people are like, oh, that's foul.
Exactly.
But Jay-Z can't sit there and then make it nice, and then now he has to pay the difference because he
I'm
can't
gonna give y'all better living
spot.
arrangements, but now I have to front y'all $900 every month just so y'all can pay rent. No, that's not how it's. That's why I said it's more of an education, because a lot of people, I feel, get angry or get agitated or have a certain stance on shit that they don't even know about. Just because you got 40 million don't mean I got 12 million to fix shit.
Not only that, a lot of times people see people's success and doesn't realize that, you know what, I could be making 40 million a year, but then taxes off the back, I have 20. And then I'm supporting this and I'm supporting that and stuff like that. So people want to be in your pockets about numbers they see in bold, but don't understand the little nuances of it. So the next question I have is, why do people in our community describe other people's waves as, oh, your little business, oh, your little movement kind of thing? Like I was talking to my boy, he's probably going to be tight, and I was, like, I did a guest appearance on a web series, right? I had a small little part or whatever, and then he's just like, oh, whose little show is that? And I'm just like, why you got to be described as a little show? He's like, oh, is it on Channel 5? I said, no, but like, the mentality sucks, right? Like since it wasn't on national broadcast TV, it's a little something, stuff like that. But I maybe because I'm around mostly, minority people, but I only see like that in the hood mentality when someone has to be like, for me to kind of feel okay with that you're doing something, I have to like put it in the box. Because
it goes back to what I said.
I don't know if you ever heard someone say like, how's your little clothing line doing, or something like that. I've
heard women say it when they just deal with men. Yeah. Okay, I see you in your little car. You doing your little thing. Like, people do that because success is based off of what you can give them. That's how they see it. Yeah. They don't see that you're trying hard. Like, you're trying. No, you not big. You not lit. Yeah, in their eyes, until you can help somebody else, and until then, I see you doing your little thing.
Well, until you're a household name, you got to be a little something. But to me, that's poison mindset.
Yeah, but that's the reason why there's only a select 3 or 4 visionaries that come every 50 years. Everybody does not have the mindset to see the future, to see that, okay, if this brand does this can change. Everybody, when Mark Zuckerberg was telling everybody about Facebook, they were looking at him like you're a nerd. You're stupid. Yeah. Nobody is going to be on this website. I could imagine
the phone. Someone say, oh, I see your little Facebook website.
I see That's
probably was somebody that did that.
Making a little post and shit. I see, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody was saying, oh, God, this guy is about to make something that's about to change the world. Like, nobody's thinking about that because nobody will think somebody that close to them can do it.
See, me, I approach that everybody's movement as like, yo, that's dope. I either see how like I can help you promote or help you get your situation going, or then you want the juice?
Everybody ain't built like you, Mark, though.
Or I see like, inspiration, right? Because we don't have to copy each other's movements and stuff like that. But I can see you being successful, and I can be like, okay, you know what, he's doing it. Either I can ask him how he's doing it, or I can sit back and research and study. But when we take the time out to be like, oh, I see you in your little car or your little house and stuff like that. Right. To me, it's a jealousy that is not even required for us to be jealous. Like, why do we have that mindset, right? Because to me, it's just like, yo, especially when you're self-made, that little car, that little show, that little clothing line, that's an idea, that's an inspiration. Right. To me, I always try to find out, like, yo, can I support that, right? Because I know that when you're chasing a dream, every day you almost feel like you're about to give up, about to close it. Every day. I was telling people, like, we recently got a shout out on the Breakfast Club for the show. I was telling people, like, right before that happened, you kind of feel like, you know what, this takes a lot out of me. Every week I'm doing the show, it costs money and stuff like that. And then something happened. And it's not like the shout out changed our world kind of thing, but it just made you see, like, if you working out there, the universe will conspire to help you if you really put in that work in. So that's why we need to destroy that little, oh, you doing this little and stuff like that, and just be more supportive.
But to me, there's a space for people like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need people like that.
Motivation.
Yeah, you need people like that. Everybody, it allows you to now see the eyes of the consumer. You know what I'm saying? Understand, like, no, I can't make it like that, or I can't do it like that because I already know.
But you
it's
also
gonna...
can't live in the comment section. I always
no,
tell
you can't.
people.
No, you can't live in the comment section. You're right. You're right. You're right about that.
I wish the other people was here. But even in the comment section of our show sometimes,
right,
or and stuff like that, you read stuff and it's just like sometimes the venom people put, it's just like, I don't even think that's a real review of consuming the product of the show. That's just you saw something and you felt like saying something funny.
It's negativity. The reason why I named the brand Getting Over Obstacles, it's never anything to harp on. But it's something that you have to be aware of. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And you also can't live in the praises too, right? Because the praises, if you live in the praises,
better than what you are.
Thinking better than you are, thinking you made it, and thinking that you can't improve upon yourself.
Yeah.
So you gotta live in that
catch-22.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta kind of balance it out. You kind of gotta do the average rating of everything you hear.
That's why I laugh when everybody claims themselves to be bosses. Everybody is not a boss. Everybody is not a CEO. If everybody was a boss and a CEO, we would have more lucrative companies than we have right now. There's
a saying, everybody wants to be a chief, nobody wants to be an Indian. But we need different components to make everything work. And like you said, not everybody's going to be a superstar, but that's why there's markets, right? Like Rihanna is a huge star.
Right.
But there's portions of the world who has no clue who Rihanna is, right? But listen. It may not be a large portion. But I'm telling you,
she's entering that category with Snoop Dogg and all of them. She walks in, we know that's Rihanna.
Yeah, but I say that to say this. Like, give you another example. I know there's some certain places I could go in the hood and I could talk to them about Taylor Swift, and they'd be like, "Who?"
Okay, yeah.
And she's a huge star,
right?
Because, and I use that example to say that, you know what, you're not going to dominate the world, but you got to find your market, your niche, and work.
What you're saying is like if a hood dude took Ed Sheeran into the hood.
Exactly.
Like they would be like, "Who the fuck is this redhead?" And then you're like,
"My guest last week kind of looked like Ed Sheeran."
This is one of the
and
biggest
then I
pop
told my
stars
wife,
in the world.
the guest kind of remind me of Ed Sheeran, and she's like, "Who?"
Like, what?
And I'm like, "Boo, I've heard you sing his song before on the radio."
But that's what it is with. I don't mean to cut you off. That's what it is with black people and white people. White people, when they sing our shit, they know who made it, who produced it, When we sing a lot of popular, we don't. It's just because we at work, we in the dentist, we hear this goddamn song every single day, so we ended up knowing the words. That don't mean we know who made it. Yeah. But if a white person is singing T.I. or Jeezy, you damn sure it ain't just because they hear it all the time. They know who that is. It's a different type of support.
So my last question on this topic, right? And the topic is celebrating other people's winning season. This is another component. Why do we tolerate other products or services to just be okay, but to utilize a black business, it has to be A1. It has to be the best of the best, the creme de la creme for you to spend $1. But you'll let other people serve you mediocre and still continue to go back. So why do you think we have that mentality?
Right. I'm actually reading a ebook right now. I'm not sure if you read it. If you haven't, anybody fans that follow this podcast is the 22 Imperial Laws of Branding. Okay. And it goes over certain aspects of when it comes to marketing and branding, things that you have to be aware of. You have to be focused on. And one of the laws was pricing, basically saying that, how do you know that Tide is the best detergent ever?
Because it's been beaten to our brain.
Right, you don't really...
But we don't do the test.
Yeah, like, if you come in with Papa Johnson's soap, your wife will be like, what the hell is this? But that soap, once you take it out the box, may be just as potent and can clean you just like if you used to get
maybe even better. You just don't know it.
This is what I'm saying. So it's all about marketing. We don't market. For example, one of my biggest pet peeves, and I hate this shit with a passion, is how people bash the BET Awards. Now let me explain. Whenever the Oscars come around, the Emmys come around, things of that nature, it's a big thing. Yeah. It's a big spectacle. But then you have the black people, I don't give a fuck about that shit. They don't do da-da-da-da-da. But then when we have the NAACP
Image Awards and
the Image Awards,
it's that little award show. We have that little award show. It bothers me a lot.
That shit bugs me out because it's like, y'all talk like we don't have these platforms, but then when we have these platforms, y'all don't put it on the same echelon as y'all do as a Grammy. Because you talk shit about, oh, I don't give a fuck about a Grammy, da-da-da. But if the Grammys called you and said you were nominated for that shit, you'd be right there in your tuxedo, happy as hell to receive that award.
Even
but then you got Beyonce, who don't even show up for BET Awards unless she performs.
Think about it. When you hear somebody's artist profiles, you hear about their Grammy nomination. They could have won 10 BET Awards,
Grammy nominated artists,
but they don't put that part.
You're never a BET award winning artist.
We always have.
You're never that.
We always have this.
If I tell you I won 10 BET Awards, you'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and we always have this yearning for acceptance of people that don't accept us.
Right.
And that's my problem with like to me, I'll go out of my way to see if I can support people of color in business and stuff like that, you know. Right. And to me, this might be a negative thing too overall. Like to me, it's this: if I have the experience with them and then it wasn't what I thought it would be. Right. I try to give them a second chance, or I try to voice them how I feel. Okay. But I'm not gonna go on huge platforms and blast them, because sometimes you'll destroy them before they even get a chance to make it right.
That's the era we're in right now.
Right? Because Walmart, you could buy something from Walmart and then it was damaged or happened to be spoiled and you didn't figure it out and stuff like that. You'll just go back and try to get your money back and you keep it moving. But if you do the same thing out of black, you on your post saying, yo, I can't never go to this spot. You know that spot on such and such?
Hashtag fuck. Da-da-da-da,
yeah, and it's just like,
now they posting videos of everybody.
Like, you can destroy people before they even get a chance to get it right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Especially when these are first generational business owners. These are first generational people with these ideas. Right. You don't come up with an idea, put it into fruition, and it goes. Just Bezos, you know, Amazon, Microsoft, Steve Jobs, all these people, when you hear their stories, they failed, but had a chance to make it up and to get better. But I feel like we crush the people who look like us to not even give themselves to revamp themselves.
We have to be very careful as African Americans before we put all of our eggs in a basket that's saying that our success or our upgrading is all due to what white people allow us to do. Because there's various situations where the detriment and the downfall of a lot of companies within our community has been strictly because of our people, not white people, not, you know, the rich. Strictly because of our people. People within our communities trying to do something special and getting ruined by somebody that looked just like me, somebody right next to me that's not affiliated with me, that has nothing to benefit from it, so they feel, I can fuck it up because it's not hurting me, it's only hurting you. You know, so it's a thin line between blaming everything on, oh, we're not getting the opportunity. I see a lot of brothers out here trying. I see a lot of brothers out here. I know dudes that's in the hood right next to dudes that sell crack, that sell books. You know what I'm saying? These dudes are positive. You know, so it's a thin line.
And another thing that people got to realize is also when you supporting black businesses in your neighborhood and stuff like that, like a lot of times these black people doing these businesses in your neighborhood, they live in your neighborhood. Right. So the money they're making gets spent in their neighborhood. They bank in your neighborhood. Right. A lot of times we support outsiders, and it's just like they're making money, but then they don't live in our neighborhood. They don't bank in our neighborhood. Their money don't make another small business loans for people in our neighborhood and stuff like that. Like I keep the majority of my savings in a black bank, right? And I just don't touch it. I just, you know, and it's not a lot of money, but to me it's just like, I feel like my money being in that bank may be a portion of a small business loan to an African-American business person. Stuff like that. I do bank in other banks. I work for a bank, so unfortunately I have bank accounts for different other banks. But you know what I'm saying? We have to make those little kind of efforts, you know?
It's also how we promote it, too. A lot of brands that are not necessarily started by black individuals, African-Americans, they promote the brand on purpose and why buying the brand improves your life, right? Like if you buy these headphones is going to improve the quality of the type of music that you buy. A lot of African American companies and things like that, they promote how it's going to make you look. If you buy these headphones, you're now swaggy. You can match it with your sneakers and things like that. So I think it's more of we have to stop promoting the glamorization of what you can get from having the brand and go hard at more of why you need it. And I feel that's why a lot of companies that are not started by African Americans do better, because they do a better job of promoting why it's a need more than, if you buy these, you're gonna be lit. You know,
Yeah.
you know, with your, because you look at McDonald's commercials. If you watch a McDonald's commercial on CBS, that shit is not the same McDonald's commercial if you watch it on BET. You know, it's different music, different characters. It's a different dialect swag. It's because they just understand
But you know,
how to
that's
beat the
having the
need.
ability to you know, specialize to different target markets. Like a lot of times,
Right.
Smaller businesses, like I have enough money to make a commercial that everybody got to see that same commercial. I can't make a BET commercial and a CBS commercial and an ABC commercial.
Right, but then you know what we do? We go, all right, so since I can't make two, this one got to be popping. Like we have to show why once you have this you lit, and then you have a whole 30-minute spot on a commercial, and I walked away from the commercial. I don't know what the fuck the product is.
Yeah,
I just know if you
distraction.
I just know if
But
you have
that's
it, I'm
what
popping.
growth. That's
You
what
know what I'm
growth. So
saying?
we're gonna move on to the next topic. The next topic is something a little more, you know, personality based. Was the toxicity of the habitual "I'm sorry," and what that means, right? Is it's we walk around with a mentality that we can do fucked up shit to people, but if we put a "I'm sorry" at the end of it, it kind of excuses away that behavior.
Right.
We do it in relationships, we do it in friendships, we do it in family, and we don't acknowledge how toxic that is because I said I'm sorry. Right. Yeah, you were sorry 52 times.
Right.
So do I have to stand around there and wait for that 53rd time for you to be sorry? So the first sub question is, why do we let people continue to hurt us the same way over and over and justify it when they say I'm sorry?
Because a lot of people are scared to be alone. Yeah, you know, you have because you know that's people who've never been in abusive relationships. Always ask people who've been in abusive relationships, you know, well, why you don't just leave? Because just leaving is not as easy for some people as it is for others. You know, some people have history with it. You know, some people mentally stable are not able to be by themselves. So they feel you can do as fucked up things as you want to, but as long as you're able to communicate and say that you're sorry, it's okay. Yeah. And in the long run, that's not okay. Yeah. You know, that's not okay.
And you know what? That is a big component of people being afraid to be left alone.
Oh yeah.
Or sometimes people are programmed like, you know what? I know that this person loves me. They just have bad ways about them. So that's why I accept that I'm sorry. But like, no. Why do you have to tolerate that disrespect or that lack of compassion or that lack of empathy from a person because they said I'm sorry? Like, I'm sorry is not the golden ticket. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry doesn't fix things. Right. I'm sorry could be genuine, maybe one time, maybe twice. But like, how many times do I have to accept I'm sorry? And people think that they can clean away a lot of history of bad with I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's because a lot of people set their own tables. You know, they just feel, you know, I can do whatever I want to this person because I know they're not leaving. I know they're not going anywhere.
And it's leverage, right?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes people feel they have leverage. I've been with this person for such and such years. They know my ways. They know I'm sorry. Right. No, but I feel like the acceptance of sorry doesn't motivate people to do better.
No.
You know, relationship-wise, family and stuff. Sometimes family do you wrong for so many years, and then they turn around and say, "Yo, I thought about it. I'm sorry." Like that's not the years of the hurt, the years of the pain doesn't go away with.
The sad part is that people know who to do that to, which means they done their research. They understand. You know what? I can do this because you know we all have friends where. You know, they're assholes, they're controlling, and it don't matter what girl they're with, all of them have the same type. You know, they're the same type. You know, every dude is not going to talk crazy to every single girl.
You know what girl's going to accept that, and you know what girl that's not going to.
Exactly. There's certain type of girls that'll eat that. You know what I'm saying? And those are the girls that dudes do that, you know, do that too. But then there's certain girls that's not gonna take that shit, and those would be the type of girls that them guys be like, yo, man, fuck that bitch. Da, 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 da. Like when you're mean, when you're abusive, whether it's physically or mentally,
bullies seek out the people they bully.
The same way, lions seek they prey. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I watch National Geographic.
That's cool, right? Because a lot of times I'll speak to women, and they was like, yo, when I was with that dude for years. He cheated on me. He kept saying sorry and stuff like that.
And he knew
but
your
we
ass
never
wasn't going
elevated.
nowhere.
We break up, and a year later, he's married. Now he's a family man. Because he saw that you accepted that I'm sorry.
There's a woman listening to this podcast right now that's been living with a man for 15 years, got 3 kids, and will never be married. Never. Done everything like a marriage. Wash his clothes, cook his food, make sure his kids is up, dressed, do everything. She'll never be married. And they probably spent like $25,000 on a baby shower, knowing you're never going to get a wedding. You know? And he knew that. He knew I can get the kids, get the situation, and I don't really have to marry it. You know what I'm saying? It's a thin line between like, okay, so stop giving these guys, wifely, things if they're not going to, make you your wife. You know what I'm saying?
So next question is, does forgiving too easy cripples relationships?
Yes. Because it's settling to me. It's settling.
Not only that, because I think a lot of times people feel like because of the length of the relationship, that there's a foundation there allows.
I've been talking to you for 3 years. I can't just walk away now.
Yeah, the investment.
How
the emotional investment in relationships.
Right.
But,
but if you're not happy, you're not happy.
But we have to come to the point, regardless if you've been married for 10 years, dating for 6 months, where it's just like, we have a finite amount of time on this earth. So I can't take back the 10 years that was bullshit. Right. A lot of times, right, you've been a 5-year bullshit relationship. But I got to think about the rest of my life. Do I allow the fact that the person has said that they're sorry for me to continue to erase the pain and the hurt? Right. Because I feel like I'm sorry is such an empty word. There's another word that's used very empty is I love you. Yeah. I love you could be the most BS word and the most special word.
I love you.
But we put power into it, like an apology that I'm sorry. I'm sorry without action is worthless.
I've had girls tell me that was real fucked up. But you know what was the fucked up part about it? That you didn't apologize. They didn't care about the dumb shit that I did. They were angry because you never actually looked me in my face and apologized for doing what you did. So females are the strongest individuals that we will ever come across ever. And emotionally, they're just as strong as they are physically. So they could take a lot of shit that we can't. You know what I'm saying? A girl can take a dude cheating 3 times on her. We can't take a girl cheating once.
We spoke about that last week.
We're bugged the fuck
our
out.
Egos are built differently.
We're bugged the fuck out. So their mindset is, if you're going to be fucked up, the least you can do is man up, look me in my face, and admit that you were wrong and apologize and make it clear that this is not going to happen again. As long as you do that, okay, we can move forward and, do. But it's the part of you didn't even say I'm sorry.
There's a lot of people out there that I hope after this conversation realize that you're habitually accepting that I'm sorry makes you just as guilty as the actions against you as the person doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
But
because there's no penalty for the person behaving the way that they're behaving because you accept that I'm sorry.
But I still put it more on the person that's doing the damage because that person knew they could get away with it.
Yeah, but like you said, when people know they have the leverage, they know they can get away with it.
Right, they're gonna keep doing it. If I walk into,
that's why there's laws, right? Because you would rob every day if you knew that you could get that money and there's no penalty for it.
I went to Ryan Junior High School. There used to be this little candy store right over where you could get your burgers. We used to go in there and steal the same shit every single day. Why? Not because we were professional thieves. It was because we never got caught.
Yeah.
Now, if we walked in there one day and got caught, we'd never go back in there and try to steal again.
It'll change
so
the game.
as long, and somebody told me something crazy too, is like a lie is not a lie until you know the truth. So a lot of people are living full-fledged lies that are not going to be confirmed until you actually find out, well, that's the truth. What you've been saying is
what
been
I
a
can
lot
say
the whole
is
time.
If you're sorry, you'll do better. Because but if you're sorry, but then you have no motivation to change.
But it goes back to your question, because some people just say sorry for it to be gone.
Yeah,
they're not really sorry. I'm just saying sorry because I know once I say sorry, this is over. I don't have to deal with this anymore.
So the last question on this topic is: when is it time to move on from sorry and just cut the person off? Like, what's the threshold of a sorry?
Just cutting somebody off is tough.
It is tough.
It's tough just to.
And you know it's tough because sometimes I think of people like I knew about this couple who was married 45 years and they're in their 70s and they got divorced.
Right.
And I'm just like, yo, you ate up your there's still life to be lived.
Right.
But you ate up the majority of like your
But
productive years.
But look, Mark,
why divorce now?
There's two things that you can't do anything about, right? Mm-hmm. That was yesterday and tomorrow. You can only live within.
That's bars right there. That's facts, though.
You know what I'm saying? You can't do anything about the days that you've already, so being a person that you can't be scared to get rid of somebody because of you being depressed about the time you put in with that somebody. Happiness is happiness. Mm-hmm. If I was with you for 3 years and the last 6 months have been bullshit, and I know those 6 months is leading to 3 years that we're about to endure that's going to be bullshit, I don't care that I've been with you for 2 years. We're going to address this now, and we're going to nip it in the bud because what I know from the 3 years is I'm not going to spend another 3 years with the bullshit that we're dealing with now if this is what is going to be. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do... A lot of people are scared to get rid of toxic people because of worried about the years they put in already.
We're addicted to the need of having people in our lives. We're addicted to the presence of people in our lives. Yeah. Whether that presence is positive or negative, we're addicted to that presence.
Which you bring up a great point because a lot of people are scared to leave because a lot of people are embedded in these other people also. Mm-hmm. I can't go anywhere because I'm not going to be able to afford living on my own by myself. I've lived with this man for 12 years. Yeah. My salary is based to
support half of these bills.
To half of this shit. I can't do all of this shit. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know how to date. I haven't dated in 8 years. So I'm not going to find a man soon that's going to be able to help me with that. So I got to stay here.
So to me, it's like when it's time to move on from sorry, when it's just like, you know what? When you're starting to realize that someone had a conversation with someone else, that, you know what? You're really not caring about yourself just on the strength of keeping that person happy. Mm-hmm. And that's bad, right? Because parents should live for their kids. I get it. But at the same time, it's not like you get to screw up this life and then come back and have another chance at it. You know what I'm saying?
New episode alert. Next episode, you should do people really want to hear the truth? Yeah. Yeah, y'all should talk about that because that has to do with a lot of what you're saying is sometimes people don't really want to hear, Yeah. People don't really want to hear, I liked you when we first started talking, but now I don't like you no more. Yeah. That's not a good enough reason for us to no longer be talking. You got to give me a better reason when that may actually be the reason.
There's a lot of sayings that, just because a relationship loses passion, that's not a reason to break up. Yeah. But if the person starts to feel like they have no obligation to, like, make you happy, no obligation to make sure your needs are met and stuff like that, like, we're just two people occupying space. Right. So to me, it's like when the sorries are not meaning enough is when the person's not. Because sometimes people will say, I'm sorry because they were caught. Like you said, they're not sorry for their actions. No, they're sorry that you brought it to their table.
Exactly.
And to me, it's just like, you got to start to kind of develop a lack of tolerance for that kind of behavior. That's why communication is such a key because just people saying sorry, but without the actions of it, to me, it's just like, it's sweet words. It's like someone telling you, yeah, you're beautiful. Right. But everything I do makes you feel ugly. Then
right. I mean,
what?
To be honest, that's one of my biggest issues that I have with relationships now is that I move so fast that a lot of things that I do that's affecting people where I didn't even know it affected you like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't purposely where it was like, you know what, I woke up today, brushed my teeth, put on a fresh pair of clothes because I knew I was going out to piss you the fuck off. Like, no, that wasn't my intention.
And that's why communication is the key.
I moved so fastly that it happened.
And let me, we're going to move on to the next topic, but let me say this one thing about what you just said. Mm-hmm. I tell women that all the time, like women will come to me and be like, oh, you seem like a good husband, give me some advice. My man's doing ABC. And I'm just like, you know what? Let me tell you, men, we're very simple creatures. Right. Sometimes we're doing shit that's effed up that we have no clue that it's effed up.
No clue.
We're just operating on what makes sense to us.
No clue.
And what makes sense to a man doesn't necessarily make sense to a woman. And what makes sense to a woman doesn't necessarily make sense to a man. That's why I always tell women, like, yo, he does that and it's bothering you. Have you told him? Like, no, he should know.
He should know.
He don't know.
He should know.
His mama probably did certain things
So
one
he
way.
would never find out.
And he never found out.
Yeah.
Some dudes grow up where their mom used to cook for them. Their mom would take the plate off the
Nigga,
sink.
I know 42-year-olds that still take their clothes to their mom's crib to get them done.
That's what I'm
for
saying.
laundry.
Their mom,
You know what I'm saying?
me and my brothers always say, our mother used to bring us our food in a tray to us to the room.
So now
She would take when we was done, she'd come back and
Right.
take the tray, put it in dishes, wash and stuff like that. So when you become a husband,
right.
your natural instincts is thinking that the woman you with wants to do that.
So
So
let
she
me-
be like,
Let me ask
nigga,
you a
your legs
question.
ain't broke.
Let me ask you a
Nigga,
question.
you could clean
when
too.
You started dating your wife, did that bother you? If she didn't do it, I don't know if she did it or didn't do it.
No,
But when you got to the
because-
point where you guys were like, you know,
to me,
was she doing that?
No, because to me, I'm odd. I feel like nobody owes me anything. I feel like my mother doesn't owe me anything, even though she brought me to this world. I feel my wife don't owe me anything. Because I always feel like if I spilled your cup and you clean it up for me, I'm appreciative because you didn't owe me to clean it up. Even
Right.
you know, anything someone does. But I do know men is like, yo, I'm her husband. She has to do that.
Right. Those type of dudes I hate.
You know what I'm saying?
I
And
hate
to
dudes
me,
like that.
and they ruin women sometimes because you beat a woman into the ground, and then when she moves on,
Right.
now she's just like she gets triggered
Right.
because of the BS. So we're coming up towards the end of the show, so we're gonna do this last topic. I wish I would have gave it more time, but the topic is, what do you do when your partner won't freak you the way that you like, right? And it's something where it's just like. I read a post on Instagram.
You knew I was coming here today, didn't you?
No, but
'Cause you just asked.
so we're gonna
all
keep
these
because we only got like
questions.
5 minutes, so we're gonna keep this real fast. So the post said that dudes to shoot their shot, make the team, and
Right.
then won't go to practice.
Right.
And same thing relationships. You do all these nice freaky things to get the person to feel like, wow, you're magical.
Right.
And then as soon as they're on the team,
Right.
you stop trying anymore.
Right.
So the first sub question is, they say what you won't do, another person will. How do you overcome that in a relationship? Because some people feel like, oh, we've been together for years. He's not gonna go out and do that. He already know what he got at home. Yeah, but it's whack. It's become whack. We got to keep it honest.
That goes back to the
And it's
question
you too.
asked. Did you tell that person?
Yes.
A lot of people are not telling these people though. A
Yeah.
lot of people are having a lot of whack sex and holding it in and not, because usually 80% of the time that's detrimental to a relationship. You know, I've been in situations where they told me I was whack. Does it suck? Yeah, it sucked, but we can't go nowhere from here.
My
You
thing,
know what I'm
about
saying?
it is, it can become whack. You know, our bodies change. Sometimes we're not in the right mindset.
Right.
But my thing about it is, if it was good at one point, you have to let the person know, like, yo, when we used to do this was
Right.
cool.
Right.
Maybe you don't want to do this anymore, but we got to find a happy
But you're not
medium.
having that conversation with somebody if you're not. If I'm with you for sex, we're not having that conversation.
You're just cutting them off.
Yeah, I'm just cutting you off. The reason why we banged for so long was because
It worked.
the sex was outstanding.
But now that it don't work.
Yeah, I don't plan on being in a relationship with you. I don't plan on being with you. I'm with you because the sex is great. So that type of conversation only occurs when you're with somebody that you really want to be with.
I always feel like you got to take inventory of, like, is it good? What can we do different and stuff? Because I think a lot of times we approach sex so much with ego that it's just like, oh, I know my shit is the bomb.
Right.
You may think your shit is the bomb.
Right.
Sometimes your shit was the bomb, but
Right.
you fell off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
We don't fuck in our weight class either. We don't fuck in our weight
And
class.
I feel like
either.
sometimes we feel like we brought a certain level of skills into the situation,
Right.
and we don't need to develop new skills.
Yeah, that's
What
true.
skills worked with your last may not work with your current. So that's
Exactly.
So the next question is, pity sex, take it or leave it.
Whew. So when you say pity sex, are you saying like we're about to break up, so let's just fuck for the last time? Or
Sometimes it's I really don't want to, I don't really feel like it, but you asked 5 times and I said no 4, so here
can't
we
lie,
go.
I've done it before.
I mean,
I've done it before. I've had sex strictly because I've been bothered to have sex. It had nothing to do with me wanting sex at the point, but they would not leave me the fuck alone. So it's like, you know what?
I mean, sometimes when you're with someone long enough, you gotta accept. You gotta accept pity sex. But to me, it's just like
sex. I was rape, guys.
Sex when the person feel like they're doing you a favor, you can keep it. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, it's just like here.
Right.
No, I'm good.
Right.
I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, it's just like, don't get it twisted. Every sexual performance is not going to be the NBA Finals. Right. There's some regular season games. There's some preseason games and stuff like that.
TNT sex is okay.
I'd rather you present than not.
Right.
If I feel like you watching the wall waiting for the situation, no, I'm good.
But what we also have to understand though, as men, is that girls are great actors. Because there's a lot of times where you think
that's why you got to find a real one where you know.
You may think you putting it down, and she is putting on an Oscar performance to make it seem like you're doing a great job, but you know you're really not. You know, so we can sit up here and act like we can tell if a girl is enjoying it, but nigga, we can't tell. We can't tell because she can.
I think you should know.
She can do all that shit.
You can't tell in the beginning.
Like, oh, yeah,
you can't tell in the beginning. But I feel like if you've been with someone long enough, you know natural moans, you know unnatural moans. Now your ego might be like, you know what, she's screaming, so I'm doing my thing. But you know.
Right.
So the last question is, you was a freak to get me, now you're vanilla. How do I overcome that?
Whew.
Right, because I've been saying this for years. Sometimes you'll find out that, you know, oral was great in the beginning. Mm-hmm. Now oral's attached to them and things are like. So how do you overcome that?
To be honest, sir, you don't. You don't. Sex is one of those things that you got to be all in to want. Mm-hmm. And if it's whack, then you have to be with someone that you like just enough where y'all can sit down and have a conversation on, all right, this what needs to change. And if you're not willing to have that conversation, well, then now we have to have a conversation on, well, is this something that we both want? Because if we can't sit here and talk about what we can do to better please each other, why the fuck are we with each other?
My advice, like when you're in a relationship and you're dating and it's kind of new, my thing is just like, you know, you have to communicate that. But when you're in a long-term relationship, I feel like you have to find things to motivate that person. Right.
You also have to...
Because people become stagnant and vanilla when they just feel like...
Right. You also have to understand the person you're dealing with, how they date. Mm-hmm. Because there are individuals who date like they're in a relationship. Like, you know, if I'm dating you, that means you can't talk to anybody else. You can't deal with anybody else. You know, I'm dating you, you're mine. Like, well, shit, that sound like we in a relationship. That don't sound like, you know, we're dating. Yeah. So you have to find those parameters, because it's like those type of things, when they're off, that affects communication, which affects sex and things like that. The last thing I
can say on this, as a married man, my advice is when that happens, like, you have to find the things that make your partner happy and go above and beyond.
Right.
Because I feel like women will become vanilla when they feel like their needs are being met and you're not trying.
He's not trying.
So if you're not trying, this is how I'm gonna penalize you. Now, if you find that certain things, like maybe it's cooking for your wife, maybe it's cleaning, maybe it's doing things, anticipating, right? You gotta have that person motivated,
right?
Because men always feel like their justification is cheap is because the vagina became regular to them and they want something new.
Right.
But at the same time, your penis is regular to her too.
Oh, yeah.
So where's the motivation? We got to create the motivation.
But it all goes back to how deeply you want to be with that person. Because whatever it is, you're going to do whatever to make it work if you really like that person.
That was the end of the show. It was a very good show. Dre was a very great guest.
Oh, man, I was so happy. I'm still pouring like we got more minutes to on this episode.
I want you to shout out what you got going on again, where people could find the brand and what's going on next for you.
Well, first of all, shout out to, you know, my whole team, my Goon Savvy team, my We Ready team, you know, Drew, B, Ray, Fingers, you know, I can sit up here all day and make it seem like it's just me that makes the motor run, but, you know, there's other individuals that help me out. You know, like I said, Instagram, Facebook, but like I said, we started the brand as a branding thing, but now is the time where, you know, we're putting in everything in motion where, you know, we can start putting on people's backs. So you're going to be seeing us a lot as far as radio spots, pop-up shops, you know, release parties, a lot more social media active, things like that. You know, we're brand new, so, you know, you got to take your lumps how you take it, but you take your lumps that's how you train. You know what I'm saying?
Cool. Yeah, shout out to everybody who's out there listening to us. Shout out to people who supporting Goon Savvy. Like, we want to have you back as again. You was a good guest.
Oh man, look, anytime you want me, I'm
as
back,
the brand
man.
grow and you have things you want to promote, I want you to come through. Bring your team as well, right?
Yeah, anytime you want me back, I'm back, man. As you can see, I like to talk, baby.
Yeah. So we can have your team on and promote what's going on next. Shout out to everybody who's been supporting the podcast. We really appreciate you guys. Like I always tell people, we got to go out there, chase dreams. We got to support each other, right? Because if we're not motivated to support each other, then outsiders are gonna be like,
exactly.
They don't even get love in their hood. Why should I support them?
If we don't believe, why would they believe?
Yeah. So that's it. That's another end of the podcast. We out. Peace.
Views.
Views from the friend zone. I'm trying to reach the end zone. You think I'm kinda sweet and you wanna be friends though? It's cool though. Just don't try to play me for no fool, yo. Views from the friend zone. I'm trying to reach the end zone. You think I'm kinda sweet and you wanna be friends though? It's cool though. Just don't try to play me for no fool, yo.